Hey guys, and welcome to the Get Cozy podcast with your hosts,
Talia
and Jasmine Charles. On this podcast, we will be talking about a wide variety of topics from paranormal stories, dating advice, spirituality, funny stories, and so much more. If any of our listeners have a special request about a topic they would like to hear from us, feel free to contact us through any of our socials, whether that be Instagram, Twitter, email at the Get Cozy Podcast, all one word. Grab your PJs, a cup of tea, and get cozy with us. Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Get Cozy Podcast. We have a special guest for you guys here today. Please tell us who you are.
Hello, it's ChiChi did it. As y'all know, I know they be promoting me and all that good. And as you've seen on their Twitches, their claws and all that good stuff. So it's me. I'm here finally for my performance, my show, my feature.
It's your time to shine.
I'm excited. I'm honored, as I say. Honored being Anato Famari. Thank you.
So guys, don't forget to share with all your friends. Find us on every social media platform. Like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good shit. I think you guys might be realizing that it is not Sunday, it is Wednesday. That is because we have decided to start releasing podcast. Shut the fuck up. Podcasts on Wednesdays and Sundays at 8 p.m. just so you guys can have a little bit more interaction with us. And yeah, so let's get into the episode.
Yep, we're just posting more content for you guys because I know we got English. I know you guys want some more from us, so we're gonna give you some motherfucking more, bitch. All right, so relationships, guys. Toxic relationships. Have you ever been in a toxic relationship? CC?
She's like, no, never.
I would definitely say I haven't really dated many. I've dated one person, and I would say yes, I have had toxic relationships, not necessarily meaning that I've dated them, but the fact that people are toxic. Like, you can have toxic friendships, you know? Yeah. So, for sure, definitely been there.
Yep. How about you, Jasmine?
I haven't really dated anyone either, but I've had, like, toxic situationships and definitely toxic friendships for sure. Because toxicity can be platonic or... What's the other one? What's the other word? You know what the fuck I'm saying. But, yeah. What about you, Talia?
Yep. I'm like blank point period, whatever the fuck that was.
Speaking English.
Point blank period, that's what I meant to say. But yes, I have been in a toxic relationship. Was in that bitch for a year and some change. Don't do it, y'all. Don't do relationships. I've been single for 2 years. My body count has gone up quite a bit. But it is okay. Anyways, so how did your guys' toxic relationship start? Cece, you go first. I'm pointing out.
I go first. Okay. So, this motherfucker, I was in maybe my junior year of high school, and he was a quote-unquote hoodlum. He wasn't really like a hoodlum because I lived in Colorado. Actually, he kind of was. He did go to jail. But... yeah, it started because we met each other at a Halloween party. Wow, it's gonna be Halloween soon too. Crazy. But we met at a Halloween party, and after that he was like, let me get your Snapchat. And I was like, okay. And all my friends were like, you bagged that, because he was probably the first motherfucker in the Springs, okay? And ever since then it was downhill.
Cece, how about you?
Alright, so let's get one thing straight. If you're close to me, you know that 99% of the guys that I've ever spoken to or encountered with have been pieces of shit. So that means like 99% of my experiences have been shit. So, alright, one of them off rip, you know, the whole shebang, baby mama drama. I was in that bitch. When I moved to Miami, that was really when it happened. I met this guy at a club, and then I was super into him, whatever, and then all of a sudden one day I get a message, you know, it's check your DM, blah blah blah, and then she's like, I'm gonna beat you the fuck up, blah, blah. Mind you, I'm like 19, this girl's like 26, pregnant, like 9 months at the time. It's like, I'm gonna beat your ass if you don't stay away from blah blah blah, whatever. And I was like, I'd never been in a position like that, and I'm not like a homewrecker, so I was like, oh damn, like, what? I was like, sorry, my bad. But then, you know, that's when Corona happened and things got boring. So I decided to entertain myself. And then I eventually reached back out to the baby daddy. That's what me and my friends would call him, as baby daddy. Not my baby daddy, but baby daddy. Because this was not his first, but his second baby mama.
Damn.
And she had confronted me, whatever. And then I just had hit him back up, and then we started fucking with each other again. And then the whole cycle of just, like, you know, the whole drama, and then being like, when are we gonna date, blah, blah, blah. And then, but knowing that his baby mama was always gonna be on the side, and his other baby mama as well on the side, you know.
Trying to make you a third baby mama.
Exactly. No, speaking of, I remember one time I was like, bruh, you say you're done with this girl, but I literally just peeped y'all's maternity pictures. He was like, stop playing. When are we gonna take ours? And I was like, oh my god, bro, that's how you know that shit's toxic. And like, he was what, like 22? Like,
damn,
bruh, that's how old I am pretty much now. That's crazy.
Yep.
He was racking them mamas up.
Yeah, no cap. He's like, I don't give a fuck. I'll impregnate this bitch. That's a lot of money to pay for child support.
Type shit.
Like, why would you do that to yourself? You're literally putting yourself in more debt. So why the fuck would you do that shit? Anyways, so what was your first impression on that guy?
Well, what about you?
Oh.
What about?
I'm like, let's ignore the subject. I'm gonna ask y'all questions and y'all answer, okay?
I'm like, you got the toxic one of all.
I know.
You got Captain Toxic.
Captain General.
Yeah.
Anyways, how did this shit start? Well, I broke up with my ex-boyfriend. Okay. I'm gonna just call. Well, I don't even know what.
Fuck them. Say their names.
Okay, yeah. So I dated this guy named Carson, and that was pretty, questionable, but it's okay. And then I broke up with him.
He gonna listen to this like, damn, I thought we had something.
No, absolutely not, bro. I did not feel shit when I broke up with him. I was like, damn, maybe I was not in love with that motherfucker. Anyways, so yeah, I started dating this dude named Carson, and then we broke up, and I had English class with this guy named Gus, and that was a toxic ass motherfucker. But so we started talking after me and Carson broke up, and it was like the whole summer we talked and shit, and then we started dating in August, and yeah, that's pretty much how it started. Because he asked, we were in English class, and he asked, we were doing like an assignment, like a written assignment, and I was looking up all the answers, and he was like, well, let me get your Snapchat so I can like, yeah. Yeah, so that's how that started, and yeah, shouldn't have gave him my Snapchat. I was actually questioning it. I was like, like, I don't know. You can literally just like look him up. I literally told him, I was like, you can just look up the answers, and he was like, no, like just send it to me on Snapchat. And so I was like, okay. And so I just got a Snapchat, sent him the answers and shit, and that's how it started. So anyways, Jasmine, what was your first impression on that partner?
So my first impression was, damn, this a bad boy. I want me a bad boy. So I was like, cause he would be like banging and shit, apparently. I don't know how that works, but he said he was a blood and he had a gun, and I was like, ooh, spicy. So it was kind of cool. So I was like, hey, this is gonna be fun, you know. And yeah, I didn't really have brain. no brain in my head. I was just thinking, bad boy, let's go. CiCi, what did you think?
So, I mean, also, as people know, for whatever reason, it's the scammer guys. It's the no life, no shit going for them type motherfuckers. Most likely maybe have done some type of jail time or downtime like that. I don't know. I guess that's just the green flags for me to turn me on and make me go around. Baby.
Yep.
So when he was in the club, he had a camera, and I do photography, so I was like, all right, like, he has a camera, like, I want to start conversation, and he was fine and shit, but not that I felt like I had a chance. It was just like, it was an opportunity, and I genuinely, out of anything, was like, well, what camera do you have, what do you use? And like, we started conversation like that, and he was cool, so I was like, all right, this is chill. And then he wrote his number down on a napkin.
Wow.
Hey, so romantic.
Yeah.
He's like, this is my camera to take picture of people's credit cards from far away.
Deadass! And put them on the black market type shit, bro. No, deadass, when we'd hang out, he tried taking my laptop once, and I was like, what are you doing? And he was like, don't worry about it. Da, da, da. And he tried to hide it, and I was like, nah, bro, like, that's my laptop. What are you doing? This motherfucker is trying to get onto the black market
I'm done.
to buy some pieces and shit to run people's cards. and will be showing me like, oh, this is the new play on scamming, but like, don't tell no one, like.
Bruh.
I'm dead. What is up with motherfuckers and scamming? I really don't understand. Like, it's not even a good source of income.
Apparently,
like, you literally go to jail. But, you know, people don't give a fuck. So.
It'd be those videos where it's like the person sobbing when it's like me working a regular 9 to 5 while people out here are buying like mansions with their fucking scam money.
Scam money or OnlyFans. I saw this girl. It was on Snapchat, like the little story thing. And she made like $1 billion in 6 months.
Bro, my client the other day, she was like a type girl where you would never expect her to be on that shit. Like she does like cosplay and all that.
Oh, that's cool.
But she got like the most basic set. She only owed me $35 that day, and she sent me a $50 tip. And then after, I saw her little link tree, and I was like, oh, you be on this OnlyFans shit.
Yup. That's lit. What was your first impression?
Okay, well, he played the first time. Yeah, it was like the first time we hung out. He played my literally favorite song of all time. And I was like, turned to him and I was like, how the fuck you know this shit? And he was like, I don't know, I just got like that. And so I was just like, wow. And I fell in love right then and there. That was my first impression. I was like, wow, this motherfucker cool as fuck. And he hooped, so I was like more intrigued into it. Because I also played basketball. Been there, done that. And so, yeah. That was a toxic red flag right there immediately. He probably went through my playlist and was like, good song.
Me with D, I found her whole playlist on Apple Music, made a playlist, and was like, I made a playlist of the songs I think you would like. Bitch, you look for that shit.
Hey, bro, you gotta do what you gotta do, okay? Okay.
That's what these toxic people about us are thinking. They're like, we gotta do, we do what we gotta do.
Yep, all the toxic ass people out here listen to this shit. Don't be toxic,
They're
y'all.
taking notes like, okay,
I know.
great start.
Anyways, so how do you guys define a toxic relationship?
Let me look at Google. I'm just wondering. I want to see what Google says for real, though.
I think toxic, in my mind, it means gaslighting, comma, a pussy ass bitch, comma, can suck my dick,
I'm dead.
comma, yeah.
So Google says, characterized by a lack of trust, controlling behaviors, and frequent lying. Often one partner is prioritized instead of coming together as a team. Yeah, I say that sounds right.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like toxic is literally just like toxic, bro. Like that shit's just not good for you in any sort of way, because honestly, I feel like a lot of times with relationships, people see toxic as your normal, oh, they're controlling and being like just that picture, which is true, that's all right. But I've even seen some friends where I could consider their relationships toxic, where their significant other wasn't necessarily cheating or like beating them or like stuff like that, but in the sense that my friend couldn't even grow in the relationship because like their partner would not work out with them or something, you know. But it was like they weren't necessarily doing anything quote unquote wrong, but I would still consider that a toxic relationship because, you know, it's like you're not growing or becoming a better individual through that relationship or even like with that person as one. I feel like if you're not growing in the relationship, then that could instantly be considered as a toxic relationship, you know, because I would think that all of us right now on this podcast, that's how we highly value relationships, is that we feel as if we all grow with each other and that we motivate each other. And if we weren't doing that for each other, then like we probably wouldn't be as close of friends or like, you know, make as much time for each other as we do now. So I think that's like definitely toxic
CC out
too.
here spitting facts.
I know.
Drop the mic.
Me going in for a fist bump.
Yeah, CC, for all y'all that were wondering, CC, I was like doing the motion for dropping the mic, and CC went in for a fist bump, and I was like, oh. I gave her a fist bump, y'all. I didn't leave her hanging.
Dobby wants some love.
Dobby wants a fist bump right the fuck now. Anyways, so back to that whole like friend and like a toxic relationship and stuff. How would you tell them they were in a toxic relationship if they didn't know?
Honestly, I feel like it's kind of hard to tell your friends because they don't really want to listen. Like, I had a friend, she was in a toxic relationship, and she would tell me, like, oh, this nigga be beating on me, whatever, this, that, and the third. Turns out she was beating on him, but she was a little backwards. But, you know, she had to fabricate the story for us. But I feel like it's kind of hard to tell them, you know. Some people just have to see it on their own. You can speak on it like, yo, I don't think this is healthy for you. I think you need to evaluate what you want out of a partner. and what you want out of this relationship here, and see if you're ever going to get that. And if not, maybe you should reevaluate who you're with. But a lot of the time, they just have to see it for themselves.
That's facts. Coming from firsthand experience, I can definitely relate to that, because all of my friends have told me that he was not good for me, and I still continue to date him. Because they told me within, like, 2 months that he was, like, a piece of shit and that he was, like, cheating and shit. And I still continued to be in that relationship for, like, a fucking year and some change. And my whole family, I think family is also a really big thing, too. Like, if your partner makes you distant with your friends and family, like, that should not be, you should not be in that relationship.
That's a fact.
Yeah, because family is important. Even, like, no matter how much shit y'all go through, like, that's blood. And you still love them and stuff. And so that was the problem with my relationship, is I started hating my dad. I hated everyone in my family. And so I was just, like, treating them really badly and stuff. And that was also a big part of the toxic relationship I was in, because he would be like, oh, your dad's a piece of shit. Your dad's like this. Your dad's like that. And I kind of listened to him, which I shouldn't have. And that's on my part. Because I also didn't have any fucking self-esteem, because he fucking lowered that shit. But we're good now. We're on to better things. But yeah, with a friend, anyways, all my friends were telling me and shit, and I just didn't listen. And then when I finally broke up with the dude, I was like, wow, I should have listened to y'all in the first place. And I lost a lot of friends. I only had one, and that was Olivia. Shout out to Olivia for sticking me through thick and thin and all that shit.
If anyone was wondering, me and CiCi did not really hang out with Talia at this time. We were not friends. If we were, we would have still been there.
Yeah. Facts.
That's true.
Facts. Because honestly, like, not a lot, but I just think it is one of those things that it's kind of, I was reading this book, The Happiness Hypothesis, 10 out of 10 would recommend to everyone. But it pretty much just talks about how through times of adversity makes you wiser. And it's just a thing of, like, our parents wish that, you know, of course, you don't want to see your kid hurt and go through these things, but you can't just teach them that. Like, they literally have to go through it in order to succeed later in life. And I'm not saying, oh, I wish a toxic relationship upon anyone, but do I believe in some sort of way everyone kind of goes through one? Of course, yes. And that's why I think our parents, at least mine when I was younger, they're like, you date a lot, and that's how you realize what you like and what you don't like. So sometimes, unfortunately, you have to go through shit to know what good is. You know, without good, there's no bad. Without good, there's no bad. So I feel like for most part, my friends, I've seen a lot of them go through terrible relationships, and it's just like, at this point, it's like I don't say things unless they specifically ask me, and I feel like a lot of times I can tell if they are in something toxic, if they are being problematic. Like, they come back to me and they're like, oh, hey, this is going on, or da-da-da, but then they don't actively seek things to change it or actively communicate with their partner to see if they'll change it. And then further than that, going and being like, hey, I had a conversation with them, like, either they changed or they didn't, and either I'm going to leave or I'm not. And I don't know. It's just kind of like you just kind of got to be there. But what I will say is there is also a difference between when you're in a toxic relationship, like, unfortunately, like Talia was saying, she lost a lot of friends, and then also still, like, not saying respecting your friends, but, like, knowing that, like, you can't just fucking ditch them for this person because they are fucking toxic. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep that shit to yourself type shit. You know, because I've lost a friend, unfortunately, to a terrible relationship. It was one of those things where it's like, all right, like, you know, you go do your shit. Like, he's been a piece of shit. We've told you that, whatever. She did her thing. Like, we're cordial. But then it got to the point where, like, he hit he hit my friend. Like, he hit a girl in front of us. And this was, you know, so-called what I call Talia and Jasmine, like, family type shit. Like, those are, like, my real friends. And, like, if someone that I was with would fucking hit them, like, I'd be like, all right, we're done. Like, we're done. Like, it's one thing for me to get hit and put up with that on myself. Like, should I do that? No. But it is different. But for someone to do that to them, like, it'd have to be over. That shit's dead. You feel me? And that's, like, when it's, like, you draw the line with this toxic shit of being, like, nah, bro. Like, you're just fucking, like, mental. Like, nah. You know?
Yeah. I unfortunately was in that situation as well, but I still stayed. But
your friends?
No, he hit me.
Oh.
But
if he hit,
I started crying.
We're like all those friends left anyways.
Gone out the window. But yeah, anyways, so I was just a dumb fuck. I was young. And I broke up with him probably like 2 months after that though. But I didn't tell anybody about that until like after the fact that we broke up, because I was like, I'm not gonna tell anyone because this shit is just not okay. But you know, it's all good. I'm okay. Only got a concussion. Fuck you. But it's okay. It is okay.
I think sometimes when it does come to friends and a relationship, sometimes it's hard because I'm usually on the friend side. I've always been on the friend side of the toxic relationship, not like in the toxic relationship myself. And sometimes it would get to the point where I just kind of had to distance myself, like not even because of like, oh, I'm so mad you're in this toxic relationship. It was the fact that I just couldn't watch you like die, like slowly, spiritually, physically, emotionally, and I just couldn't handle it anymore. So I was like, I don't want to put myself through this. Like, come to me when you're done with this stupid ass shit, and I'll be there for you no matter what, whenever. But I can't watch this go by anymore.
Yeah, no, and I feel like that's how most people are when they see like their friends in a toxic relationship. Is like there comes to a certain point where we're just done, like friends wise, where we're just like, okay, we still care about you, but we've been telling you for so long, and we literally see you like physically sick, because I looked sick as fuck. I looked drained and all that, and there just comes to a point where you're just like, okay, like I'm done trying. Like I'm gonna still always be here for you, but there's comes to a point where it's like I can't do it anymore. So yeah, I definitely relate to that. Kind of. Well, yeah, I do. I do.
And
okay.
I feel like too, it's
Sorry.
just like also I've had friends in toxic relationships where like they change for the worse. Like they're changing terribly, and it's one thing to obviously again go through your own decisions, whatever. Like I'm not a person or a friend where I'm gonna judge you, whatever. I understand like being a lot of things with relationships are easier said than done, but like I've lost friends because they chose to choose their bitch or some shit over me, when it's like, bro, who was there for you when you were upset and crying about this person, and now you're gonna act like I don't exist and like switch up? Like no, that's just when it's like, all right, bro, like you're dead, like bye.
Yeah.
Like peace.
End of the friendship. And it sucks because like you really care about the person, but it's just like
Facts.
there's nothing you can really do.
Yeah.
So it's just like, well, okay, whatever. So anyways, back to y'all's like relationship and stuff. Did the relationship make you feel good about yourself?
At first I was like, yeah, I'm a bad bitch. I got the baddest nigga in the town. And so I thought I was cool at first. So gay. So it was cool at first, and then after a while I just kind of realized it was getting like scary, to the point where I was like, all right, if I keep hanging around this dude, I'm going to end up in a bad situation, because he used to make me didn't make me, but you know, I made the decision to drive him to make drug deals. And because he didn't have a car and I had a car, he was like, drive me and my homies around, I'll give you some gas money. I was like, okay. And I didn't realize how fucking stupid that was. Like, bitch, he gonna blame that shit all on me when it come down to it. And then there was also a time where he threatened a pistol with me, and I was like, oop, this is getting a little dangerous. And so after that I was like, let's dip. So moral of the story, did the relationship make you feel good about yourself? No.
Wow. And you, CC?
I mean, at first, like, okay, so at first, yeah, it was cool. Like, I was vibing, and I was like, nah, this is really... What I will say about that particular experience is it did kind of make me realize that I do enjoy being with someone who is creative and who can, like, relate on some ways of, like, what I do, like, or just have appreciation for it. Like, not gonna lie, like, of course I don't need or want to date a photographer, but it was really cool, like, him teaching me certain little things about, like, Final Cut Pro or editing, and I was like, all right, like, this is cool. I've never, like, been with someone who, like, does the same shit as me in a sense. But when I found out about the baby mama, of course I was like, nah, fuck that, whatever. But then, like, in the literally most toxic way, after when I had hit him up again and we started hanging out, the way I saw it during that time was like, oh, I'm special because he has, like, baby mamas and shit, but he's choosing to come drive an hour to see me. He's paying for my food and this, that, yada, yada. So, like, I'm the special bitch, which sounds so bad. Like, it sounds, like, disgusting. But, like, that's how, I guess, if you want to say, like, how did that make you feel? Like, during a certain period of time, I was like, nah, like, this is fun. Like, this is cool. Because I knew how to act accordingly after that. It's not like I was trying to date him or be with him. Like, I was like, all right, like, I know how it is now type shit. But, yeah, I was like, nah, like, you fuck with me, like, blah, blah, because you're, like, doing that. But that's obviously not the case. And then eventually, like, that shit ended. And, like, it was cool ending. But, yeah.
I hate when they do the same shit as you because then you just fall more into it. And I'm like, fuck.
Literally.
Like, why the hell do you have to be like this? Because they teach you so much. Like, Gus and I would play basketball, like, every fucking morning. And then he would teach me a whole bunch of stuff and I got better. And that's the same thing probably with you. You got better at editing. You got better at this. You got better at that. And that's the one thing that really sucks because they really get your ass.
Well, because you feel like you can automatically relate to them more. And that's, like, I feel like one of the keyest things when you're into someone is being like, oh, they get me, or, oh, they're into what I'm into, so, like, I can be more as myself, or, like, you know, they already know this certain part of me, which is cool. So it kind of almost, in a sense, it speeds up the process, which I feel like is why, like, what you were saying, you're like, fuck. Like, it's easier to be like, oh, I'm so into you.
Yep. So how did your guys' relationship end?
Like I said, he tried to pistol with me, and I was like,
Christ.
yeah, let me not do this anymore.
Jesus Christ. Go ahead.
Nah. Like, as I said, it wasn't like we dated or nothing, but it was literally probably just, I think it was actually at the, oh, no, I know how it ended. So.
I'm like, which time?
No, literally. So, we would, like, I don't know, pretty much maybe he would come over to my place like once or twice a week type shit. And then I was making my trip for that semester back to Colorado. And I knew that after I came back, it was going to be over. Because I knew that when I came back, like the day or something, that was his second baby mama's due date.
Oh.
So obviously, like, I was like, I'm not dumb, bro. Like, it's gonna be over when I come back. He has new shit and new responsibilities to fucking be at. And, yep, that's pretty much what it was. I went to Colorado, came back, and then we both kind of just, like, fucked off from each other.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's nice.
It's nice while it lasted.
So has he, like, ever hit you up again or no?
Yeah, he definitely has. But obviously, too, once you step out of toxic things like that, it's easy, and obviously as girls, once you get over it, like, we're over it. So it's like when they hit you up, no matter what it is, you're like, bruh, I see right through you. Like, I know why you're hitting me up, like, for your own selfish reasons or this that. Like, he had hit me up a couple times to, like, quote unquote take photos of behind the scenes for sets or this is that, and I'm just like, nah. And then he hit me up once just because he was in Colorado and was like, yo, where can I get weed at? And I was like, I don't have plugs that are like that anymore, just go to the dispo, bro.
Yep. I'm gonna only hit you up for weed. He's like, yo, you got that good.
Straight up. It was like 3 a.m. He's like, yo, you got a plug out here? I was like, bro, it's 3 a.m. Like,
what you doing? May the best what you doing.
Dead at WYD.
Yep.
You up?
Yep. Okay. For me, so we're at school and a girl sent me some screenshots and some, like, phone calls and stuff. And it was him, like, claiming he loved her, and it was, like, a whole bunch of different shit. And so I was like, damn, that fucking sucks. And so we talked after school in the parking lot, and I was like, why the hell are you cheating on me? Like, do. Because he cheated on me with, like, fucking 10 other bitches, probably more. And so then he was just like, oh, well, it's, like, your fault that I cheated. And I was like, oh, shit.
You're done.
Yep.
You're done.
I mean, after fucking, like, the fucking 6th time.
Narcissist.
Yep.
Narcissist.
As fuck. But after the 6th time, because we broke up probably, like, 5 times. And that was, like, boop, 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 like, in my head. And so I finally ended it, and he cried. And then, yeah, so have you guys ended something and then have sex with them? Like, breakup sex or, like, makeup sex?
No.
Also, no.
No,
well,
again.
I am guilty. But it was really good.
Guilty.
Yeah, but I ain't go cap. It was really good. We didn't fuck after that. So, well, we didn't have sex after that. I don't want to use the word fuck. We made love. Anyways.
Ew.
She's not a whore.
Yeah. So do you guys have any like tips and stuff on how to stay out of toxic relationships, or what like signs to look for before getting into a relationship?
I feel like a really good way, one, to know in some senses, like, obviously there's levels to it. Like, I would say, for instance, like, when you want to talk about, oh, did you hook up with blah, 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 like, y'all were in high school, right?
Yeah.
So it was, like, you guys, like, well, not that you can't do that here, but, like, I know, like, you are very in close proximity. You go to high school. You know what I'm saying? You're not an adult yet. So there's like levels to it, but I would say for really anyone, even if you've dated or not, make a list of just someone that you would want to manifest, or someone that you envision yourself like in the qualities they hold. And like, you may not know all of them now, and you're probably going to figure out some of them that you don't care about as much, but it's still just a good thing to have in front of your face to be like, oh, this is what I envision in a partner. And so when you see someone and you get to know them, you can either be like, well, they have this important quality, or they don't have this one, and that means a lot to me, so it might just not work out. And I would also say, like, a big red flag, especially in nowadays culture, is boundaries. Like, a lot of people think that it should be okay to have no boundaries, and that if you have boundaries, then like you're a prude, or you're a wimp, or like you're just not cool. Because a big red flag is when you make a boundary for yourself and you explicitly tell that person, and they get defensive, or they have something negative to say about it, because it probably was benefiting them because you didn't have any boundaries. So that's a big thing for, I feel like, a lot of people, you know.
Set your boundaries, ladies and gentlemen. Jasmine, how about you?
I didn't have enough time to think. Talia, you go.
Okay. So some signs to like look out for me personally, after that one relationship, there was a lot of things that I was like, damn, I kind of missed that, was gaslighting. Gaslighting is a big thing for me, at least, because that motherfucker gaslight like a motherfucker. And controlling. Like, if someone is trying to go through your phone 24/7 and they literally have no reason to, that should definitely be a big red flag. Because in my last relationship, he was going through my phone all the damn time. And he would find like a Snapchat from like, for instance, like one of my friend Jeff. We've been friends for a long time. And so we would just like have a Snapchat streak, and he would get pissed, like absolutely pissed. And so that's just like a really big red flag. If you can't talk to other people, then like jealousy, for instance, if you can't talk to other people, even your friends and your family, then you should cut that motherfucker off, because he is not good for you. Because you need to have social life. You need to have friends. You need to have family. You need all of that, or else you're literally just gonna sit there by yourself thinking about all your thoughts and all that shit. And you don't want that. So yeah. That's a sign to look out for. But also, what CiCi said too is like boundaries. Set your boundaries, because when I was young, I didn't have any boundaries. I didn't know what the fuck I wanted. I didn't know what I didn't want. And after that relationship, I definitely have learned a couple things about what I do want and what I don't want. And so yeah, it's just a learning experience. Toxic relationships are a learning experience. All relationships are a learning experience.
Facts, guys. Sorry it took me so long to say something. I was far away from the microphone. I think another one is making excuses for their behavior. Me just reading what Talia wrote down. But definitely making excuses for their behavior. Like if you say something that upsets you that they do, and they're just like, well, I did it because of this, or like this, that, and the third, and they always feel the need to defend themselves, that's just like, that just shows that they don't want to grow to be a person that can be in a relationship. They just want to, be like, well, this is why I did that, and that's why it's fine. Like, no, you did this and it upset me, apologize and do better type shit. But if they don't want to do that, and I think you should definitely look out for the signs early on, and communicate with them like, yo, this is low-key a little scary for me that you do this type of shit, and see how they react to you saying what upsets you, or what you feel that they do that might lead to a toxic relationship. And if they act like, if they're like, oh damn, like I didn't know, I'm really sorry, I'm gonna fix that, and they change, then toodaloo, good for you. But if they just get defensive and just say like, no, I don't fucking do that, or like, sorry, you feel that way, and type shit, like, you should dead that and move the fuck on. There's no need to fight for some shit that's not worth fighting for.
Facts. Accountability, bro. That's pretty much biggest pet peeve. Don't care if it's a guy I'm with or if it's a friend. Like, if you can't take accountability for your actions, I don't care if you mess up, bro. We're all human. I get that. But if you dead ass cannot look me in the eye and be like, look, I fucked up this time. I'm sorry. I'll do better next time. Great. That's awesome. But like she said, if you're making excuses and all that, then it's just like, at this point, I don't really want to be your friend, honestly. Like, it's literally, I think I say friends because in terms of relationships, I've been seeing that a lot more in some friendship relationships where it's like, bro, like, I literally don't care. Just be accountable for your actions, and we're good. Like, we're human, we mess up. And I think a big thing that kind of goes hand in hand with what you were saying with the excuses is like being hypocritical, because there's a whole lot of you can't have girlfriends or you can't have boyfriends, but then they have, you know, the opposite gender friends all over, or like it's not even necessarily that, but just hypocritical stuff, you know, unequaled standards that are just like ridiculous, which I think is a big red flag of like, if they're calling you out for doing something but they do it themselves and they're like, but it's fine because of this, like, no, that's not cool at all.
No, absolutely not. And like, for also add on to that, I'm like plus. For like making excuses, I know for me, like personally, I made a lot of excuses for my ex-boyfriend because he would cheat and I would make excuses. Like, I should not have to make excuses for their behavior when it's literally their fault for doing all the things that they did. And so it just, honestly, it made me to punish myself, because I was like, damn, it's all my fault now. And that's the whole thing of like making excuses, because now you're just blaming yourself. So yeah, anyways,
so do you guys feel that the toxic relationship was helpful in any way to your character development?
I'll add on to that. So yes, I think that honestly it's made me who I am, because for relationship wise,
he's like, you're welcome.
I know. I know.
And they always will do that bullshit of being like, I did that. Yep. You're welcome.
And now, like, they see me glowing and shit, and they're like, yep, I did that shit. Like, you know.
After every breakup, you get hotter, guys.
Yep. But, what the fuck was your question again?
If you feel like the toxic relationships help with character development.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I think so, because I finally learned to not self-deplenish myself, like, lower my self-esteem, actually give a fuck about myself, and put my family first, because I really messed up on that one. Because me and my dad had a really rocky patch when I was dating him, and I never want to do that again, because that was just bad. But, yeah, I think the main thing is to always put myself first, too. I mean, sometimes I'm going to put other people in front of myself, because that's just the person who I am. But I have more self-awareness. I know what I'm looking for in a relationship. I am not gonna change who I am for anybody else. I'm gonna be me, and I'm gonna stick through that. So, yay! Self-improvement!
Yeah.
How about you, CC?
Dobby is a Frio.
Dobby is not locked up in chains.
Yeah, I feel like it definitely opens your eyes and it gives you a new perspective once you are able to break through, of course, like the toxicity and all of the bad stuff. Because one thing I'll say is, through the toxic experiences I've been through, is that I've always been a very chill girl, as they would say. Always been the bros girl. I can hang out with a whole bunch of guys and it's cool, and like I'm like, we're chill, we're tight. So I don't want to say that I trip or that I'm crazy in a sense, but when I would look at some of my friends and the things that they would expect or just act towards guys, I'd be kind of like, oh, you're crazy, like you're tripping. But at the end of the day, their needs and wants would be met, because they would be very firm and just, you know, they know what they want. They're not chill. Like, they're not necessarily crazy, but they're not chill. And they also, what I will say, they had those boundaries that I was talking about earlier, that also I think it kind of opened my eyes up to, is not thinking that a boundary is being crazy or putting a limitation on either one of you, but it's literally just, no, this is simply that makes me uncomfortable, and if you're not cool with it, then we're not meant to be together, and that's fine. So I feel like after that, it made me higher my standards, and it made me realize that it's okay to literally, in lack of better terms, expect crazy or good things for guys, because I feel like in today's society it's very, you do bare minimum, yay, you do bare minimum, you're such a fucking cool guy, like, but then it's like I look at people like my dad and stuff, like, that motherfucker bought my mom a house when he was 29, bro. My mom did not have to work a day in her life type shit. It's like, that shit's still real, and I guess I never, like, it's sad to say I grew up with that, and I'm very fortunate, but it took me so long to, like, almost use that as my role model that I use now in modern day relationships because of, like, the toxic stuff of, you know, yeah.
I think it's also really hard because on social media, toxic relationships are idolized. Like, people are like, oh, I love that toxic shit. Like, no, bruh, be happy. Like, why can't you have a partner where you guys just enjoy each other and there's no toxicity? Like, why do people want toxicity so badly? Like, I don't understand why it's so looked upon. Like, bruh, do you guys realize what you could have and the type of shit you can get? Like how you said with your parents, that's the same shit with my parents. My dad worships my mom, bro. Like, he would go to the ends of the world for her no matter what, and I half the relationships I see would never do that.
Yeah, and also to add on to that, there's a whole saying where it's like you date people like your father. And I think that's a big thing because my father, too, he worked his ass off. And he now has a whole ass fucking light show that he fucking programs, gets donations for. Like, he did that shit. And I want someone, like, the same way, like, works hard and fucking worships. Because my dad worships my stepmom. And so, yeah, it's just like, you give what you get. So
what advice would you guys give people that think that they might be in a toxic relationship?
Go see a therapist, because talk about your relationship. You probably don't know that you're in it. Go see a therapist and just tell them about your relationship and stuff, and maybe the therapist will be like, damn, bitch, you with a fucking whack ass hoe, get the fuck out that hoe.
I remember I saw a story of this girl, and she was like, yeah, like I went to my therapist about she had started going to couples therapy with her boyfriend, and after like 1 or 2 sessions, the therapist calls her in for like her own session, and the therapist was like, you need to get out now. Like, I see psychopathic tendencies in him. You need to get out. And she broke up with him. Literally a few months later, he murdered someone, like murdered a girl. Yeah. So and it was like his new girlfriend too. Like, he murdered his new girlfriend, and that would have been her if she didn't like escape the relationship. So you may not think that your toxic relationship is physically gonna harm you or anything, but you never know. They might be a goddamn murderer, so head on out.
Holy shit.
And especially, like, because from my point, like, you can't see that shit. Only people on the outside can see it. And so definitely therapy is definitely one of the ways that I kind of figured out that I was in a toxic relationship, was therapy, and also my dreams. So shout out to my dreams. But CiCi, how about you?
I feel like from what I most commonly see is like the biggest thing is just, are you even a better person with this person? Are you growing with this person? Do they make you want to be a better person? Are they adding anything to your life that's positive and worth talking about? Because most of the time, if it's a toxic relationship, none of those things are going on. You know, and it's very evident that, like, none of those things are going on. So I feel like, yeah, if none of that shit is going, then you probably know that it's not something that's worth keeping around or something that's going to last for the long run. And shit, rule of thumb, I guess, the whole, if you break up, bro, more than, like, once or twice, like, that shit's toxic. Like, you feel me? Like, this is a kind of random, but I feel like, too, what do you guys, sorry, I'm not the one supposed to be asking questions,
it's
but.
okay. I'm like, what are you doing? This is our podcast.
You guys are, like, holding up guns to me. I'm like, what do you guys think about breaks? How do you guys,
stupid.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I wish I never done it.
One thing I will say, this has nothing to do with what you just asked. I have to say before I forget, ADHD. Look at how your animals act with them, because if you have a happy ass dog and they act weird as shit around your partner, it's because they know. Animals know deep down how people are. Like a friend of mine, she had the most loving cat in the world, loved everybody. Her boyfriend came over, that motherfucker would turns out he was a fucking piece of shit. So watch how your animals react with them. But breaks, honestly, I think it depends on the relationship. Like, I don't know. Some people I feel are very dependent on their relationship, and it's to the point where they aren't, like how you said, growing on them by themselves or with that person. So maybe you have to take a break, not even just to like, oh, I want to like try seeing other people. Like, I need to get to know myself. And a lot of people become their partner being with their partner, or just don't really know who they are without their partner. So sometimes I think breaks are a good way to find yourself, and maybe you find yourself and figure out that partner is not for you, and then it becomes a breakup, but maybe it brings you guys together stronger because you were able to build who you are alone and come together and build an empire type shit.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. She's lying. No, I'm just playing.
I unfortunately was stupid and just kept going back. So don't do what I did. And after two breaks, bro, just be done. Like, just be done.
Right.
So, how about you? What's your thoughts on breaks?
I think kind of what you're saying, like, I think there can be a circumstance of maybe just literally, let's just say you've been dating a person and it's been great type shit. You guys have been dating for years or something, but there comes like a life point where maybe one of you guys like has to move for, just an opportunity. And like, as we in right now, like we're in our young 20s and stuff like that. And just, I feel like two mature people might just be like, hey, like, we're not breaking up or nothing, or it's not that I'm not thinking of you. I just think for what you're about to go through right now, we should take a break, because obviously you're going to need to be focusing more on this. And I don't want it to turn into something like, oh, you're neglecting our relationship and then it ending in a really bad breakup. But I feel like in the sense of how breaks are normally viewed and insinuated, I think they're bullshit. Like, I think at that point, you should just break up. Like, if we get into an argument or something and it's like heated and then you're just like, well, we should take a break, you feel me? Like,
oh yeah, that shit's dumb.
Nah, fuck you. Like, bro, what do you mean we should take a break? Like, that's why divorce rate is so high. That's why people don't last, because people literally don't understand that friendships and relationships are I'm not saying like keep talking to people around, but at the same time, like, you gotta work through the hard shit, like, you're gonna have tough conversations, you're gonna have things you don't agree on. People are different no matter how much you think you're like, but it's your choice if you want to stick it through or not. So that's why I think in the more common break type culture, I think it's just bullshit.
Yeah, I feel like most people will use it as an excuse to like fuck around and shit.
Right.
But I feel like if it's a healthy relationship and y'all, like you said, like moving and shit. Like, I know one of my teammates, she's from Europe and she has a guy there that she really fucks with, and she was like, if he asked me to marry him tomorrow, I would. But they're so far away that she told me, she's like, we have fun. I have fun here. He has fun at home. And then when we are together, we're together type shit. But they don't, like, it's technically like a break type shit.
Yeah. Anyways, so this concludes today's episode. Thank you, CiCi, for coming on. Also, I call her CiCi because that's her other nickname.
She's like, don't take my government. But thank you guys for listening. We wanted to let you guys know that we are going to start having after hours. So that's pretty much going to be on our Patreon. How do you say that shit? Patreon? It's literally spelled Patron. Whatever. Patreon. We're going to start having after hours on Patreon. And that's when we're getting to the down and dirty. So we'll talk about a lot of stuff that we cannot talk about on our main podcast. You do have to subscribe, but it is worth it. Promise you guys. Today we will be talking about crazy sex stories. So please join us on Patreon. Have a good night. Bye.
Peace.